What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 41 of Not So Subtle. I'm Jordan Miller, and as always, I'm here with Coulter Potter.
Hey, dude, what's up?
What up?
Oh, not much.
Dan LaPointe.
Hello, bud.
Hello.
I'm gonna talk like this for the rest of the episode.
Okay.
Okay.
Talk like this. Because on this podcast...
Don't do that.
I'm not going to do that. I can't do that for more than at least maybe like 5 seconds.
We'll see it again. You'll do it again.
And you shouldn't.
I won't be doing it.
You'll do it. You'll do it again. Mark my words.
Okay. Well, I'm scared now. But on this podcast, we're going to be talking about movies, video games, and pop culture. Anything else to say about that?
No.
No, that's it?
I thought you said it pretty well, man.
Okay, cool. We are going to talk about Whiplash, the movie we picked last week to watch.
Whiplash?
From our Wacky Film List that we pull a film out of every week. We have a list of movies inside a bag. It's not a hat, nor a box, nor any other sort of container.
Receptacle.
It's a bag filled with movies. And we randomly choose one, which we will do at the end of this episode.
That's right.
But before we move on to Whiplash, and this is going to be a very quick transition. It might give you whiplash, because we're going to do a lightning round. Let's go.
Let's go. Everyone get ready to shoot from the hip. It's lightning round questions. Let's go. Hey. I don't know. I thought I had a song.
That was kind of a hot jam.
I thought I had
that one.
I was trying to rhyme something with whip or quip, or whatever I said, but
and you lost it pretty badly.
I lost it.
Listen, just give that melody to Skrillex, and he'll chop it up and make it real nice. I won't
give it away
for the Grammy.
Sell it to him.
I'll only give it to Justin Biebsmans.
Justin Biebsman.
J. Biebsman.
J. Biebsman. All right.
Let's go.
Hamburger Lord.
Hamburger Lord. Never mention that name in this house.
It's the cursed name.
Guys, is it grammatically proper to capitalize the names of seasons?
Yes.
I pre-looked up the answer to this, so I know it.
Yes,
I don't know for sure, but I'm going to go with yes.
The answer is no.
You
guys fucked up.
Is it really?
Now, let me tab over to
the reason that
this. No, go ahead.
Well, no, the reason that well, I don't know, actually.
I want to hear it.
Well, what's your reasoning?
Now that I think about it, what I was initially was going to say, what I initially was going to say.
Spit it out.
Is that for things denoting something related to like time or something like that, like I was thinking, do we capitalize day or night? And we don't.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking like, okay, what about like afternoon or sunset or anything like that? And we don't do that either. So now I'm thinking like, I'm questioning everything. And I feel like maybe I should have just initially gone with no, because
well, that would have been right, but you're wrong.
No, I know, but I mean, like now that I think about it now, like I don't know why I said yes. I guess I mean like I just always capitalized it because that's no one ever told me not to. I don't know.
Please apologize for saying the wrong answer.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know whether I capitalize it or not. I just assume that you should, but I feel like I think that you should just because it's like, oh, those are like big things. Those are like the names of the seasons. Seems like a proper noun.
Yeah, it's pretty much like other proper nouns. We just give importance to it arbitrarily. So it seems like seasons might be one of those things. But no, don't you dare think that it is. Because according to Google, seasons such as winter, spring, summer, and fall do not require capitalization because they are generic nouns. Some people may confuse these words as being proper nouns and try to capitalize them using that rule of capitalization. The winter season allows for many snow-related sports.
Okay, this is
what the hell happened?
I think this is just an excerpt of a much larger discussion.
Crazy.
You guys,
you know how it puts a little paragraph when you search something sometimes when it's like, we're pretty sure this is the answer that you're looking for. That's what it did.
So
Jordan was going to say something.
It's fine.
Really quickly, all I wanted to say was that now that I think about it, when I'm thinking about like if I'm typing a text to somebody or like writing something in general, I can never think of myself. I don't remember ever capitalizing a season.
Mm-hmm. Okay, listen, Dane, you were wrong, all right? Just get over it, all right?
No, that's
you
the thing.
That's
the thing. I'm an idiot because I don't know why I said yes.
It's fine. Listen, it's not a big deal. You said yes.
No, I'm upset about it.
So we do capitalize the months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's more months. It's a smaller period of time, so therefore less important. So therefore we shouldn't capitalize the months. Hey, so everybody stop capitalizing the months. You heard it here first.
Just because they're smaller.
But what about days of the week?
Important.
That's not true. Everything small is less.
Fair enough. I can't argue
What
with
about
that.
days of the week? There's so many of those.
You're right, and they're all capitalized. All right, moving on.
Wow, that's even a bigger can of worms.
I was going to ask, are you guys a fall person or an autumn person?
Fall.
This is interesting.
Yeah. Autumn should only be said in conjunction with leaves.
What do you mean?
Autumn leaves?
Yeah.
Fall leaves? You're right. That doesn't
Which
sound
is, Autumn Leaves is a jazz standard.
Oh.
Guys, a little sneak peek at our wacky film of the week.
Is that a song?
Yes.
A little...
a jazz standard means one of the classic jazz songs that every... if you, like, bring it up to play at, like, a jam session or something, or, like, a gig even, everyone there should hopefully know how to play that song.
Is
and the changes
Moanin'
for it.
a jazz standard?
Yes.
Yeah, that for sure.
That's one of my favorite jazz standards.
It's a little... that's a deep cut, but
is it?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Caravan is also one of them. Whiplash, I don't think that's one of them.
Interesting.
What about, like... Well, yeah, I know pop standards.
Yeah. We'll go
Anyway.
into a deep discussion of Whiplash later. For all our jazz heads.
Or jazzer heads.
Shout out to Kyle Shearer. Okay, anything else?
No, that's it.
Not really, no. I just
Let's
want
move on.
to leave this in the dust.
All right, man.
I want to leave this in the caravan.
The next,
Let's go.
the next boy we have here is: would you rather come face to face with a miniature hippopotamus or a giant cockroach? Both are in a bad mood. Wow, what a funny.
Definitely a miniature hippopotamus.
Okay, but how many?
No.
are
Sorry,
we
the
talking?
cockroach.
Have you heard that hippopotami
are the most dangerous animal
That's
in
right.
Africa? Yes.
How
in Africa? I wasn't going to say that, but
in the world?
Is
I
that true?
suppose that's
Yeah.
true.
I heard they're the most dangerous. Well, they're for sure the most dangerous on that continent.
They're very
Africa has the most dangerous animals.
source needed.
Bar Australia.
Yeah.
How
That's
many?
not a fact,
Do you think
sorry.
we're talking?
How many?
Yeah, like how
I thought it
many?
was
How
just one.
small? How
How
many?
many?
Like how
Yeah.
miniature is it?
That's a good question because anything small is less.
that's right.
No. Okay. So like, what is real question? I've never seen a hippopotamus in real life. I don't think.
Because you don't go to zoos, you little fucker.
Fuck the zoo, dude.
would be your ass.
How big are they?
Big.
Is it like bigger than
Big.
like a van? Like,
Probably
like
not
a
as
minivan.
tall as a van, but
well, yeah,
as
but I mean,
long,
like in
maybe?
terms of like width or like
Yeah,
overall size.
not as wide. I'm sure. Well, maybe as wide. They're big.
Like
They're
length?
big, bulky, and long. Yeah.
Okay, so then a miniature one would probably be like what? Like a mid-sized sedan?
I don't know.
Maybe
No,
like
I mean, I was thinking like a small dog,
Like
or
a
something.
clown
horse.
car?
Like
A
small
dog?
horse.
That's
Wait.
like a pony.
Yeah, like a pony
What?
maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Sized hippo.
Yeah,
I would
that's
still.
more what I was thinking.
I would still.
Like maybe
just-
a wolf. Or wolves are pretty
Wolf.
big.
Yeah, I would say wolf maybe.
Yeah,
yeah.
check me out of that, dude. I'm gonna go for the cockroach.
But how big is the is a giant cockroach like as big as a hippo? Because I'm
But
not.
a giant
I'm not dealing
cockroach.
with
But
that.
think about this: a giant cockroach in comparison to the normal size of a cockroach can't be that bad.
Exactly. But if we're saying, I mean, giant could be whatever. It could be as big as a hippo.
It
Do you
could
want to
be-
fight
It
a
could be, but look, I know this.
Oh, you're
Jordan.
the expert. You wrote the question.
I'm the optimal human.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good question. If it's a wolf-sized hippo, I would definitely take it on. That would be a fun
dude,
battle.
I would rather take that on than a hippo-sized cockroach.
Yeah, are you kidding me? A hippo-sized cockroach is the nightmare situation.
And
No,
quite-
they're not. They don't do shit. They literally don't do anything.
It's
Yeah, but
it's the size
it
of a
could crush
hippo.
you.
It won't do
It
shit.
could crush you under
All
its
right,
weight.
Dane. I thought you were an
It won't do shit.
insectologist.
It's an entomologist, Jordan.
Nice.
Are you sure?
Yes.
He is one.
Okay.
He would know.
I'm
He's an
100%
expert.
positive.
Okay.
He's an expert on all manner of bugs.
All manner of bug.
I'm also a cryptozoologist.
Let's fucking go.
On the topic of wolves, have you ever actually seen how big a wolf is?
Yeah, I
Yes.
remember looking at a picture of one next to a human. I was like,
Yeah.
no, that's not real. And it was.
not
I was like,
okay.
that thing it's very big.
I'm
Like
probably showing one on the screen right now.
I would be frightened to see one out
Next
in
to
the
a
wild.
human, please.
Yeah, hopefully.
And also banana. We need to make sure to include all the points of scale.
That's gonna be a
banana.
lot. I'll put a banana picture in there,
Okay.
and then shrink it down to what I assume is
This is the right size.
actual size.
Okay, that'll work.
Just put it in his hand, in the.
Oh no,
That's actually
Oh,
really
no.
good. That'll be a good point for reference.
okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say that when I was in Yellowstone, I saw from somewhat far away. I saw a little baby black bear. Actually, it was kind of funny. He was rolling down a hill and being all goofy like little bears do, and then Mama Bear showed up and she was like, "Don't fuck with my
Yeah.
baby bear," and she was big as fuck.
Yeah.
Bears are frightening. I can only imagine that wolves would be somewhere in there. I heard wolves. I didn't see any.
Sorry, you said you were at the national park,
Yellowstone.
so you were in danger, kind of. How far away was it?
So it was like...
How many yards? If you see a bear, you should piece it.
Like half a football field away, maybe?
Okay. 50 yards,
roughly.
To be exact.
Yeah, roughly. I don't know, like somewhere in that range. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was far enough away where like it wasn't like it was close enough for me to like see intricate detail. Like it was like I could tell that it was a bear, and I was like, damn, I should probably not go over there. But then also there was like a ranger, because it was on the side of a road, and people were getting on their cars and like taking pictures of it. Uh-huh. But it was just like it wasn't like
so the chances of you in particular being killed are quite a bit lower.
It's fairly low. Like it was far enough where people were using like telephoto lenses to take pictures of it.
Yeah.
But like it was close enough to know it was a bear. And then the mama bear like just rolled out of the forest and was just like, yeah, we got a piece out of here. And then the park ranger was like, no one like go in the, because it's just like it wasn't like a roped off or like a fenced area. It's just literally like a national park. So like it's just running around. And he's like, yeah, no one go over there right now. Like, don't fuck with it. So. Somewhat scary. I imagine wolves are, like I said, quite large, because you see bears in like videos in National Geographic or whatever, like catching salmon, and you're like, yeah, it's a bear, but then you see one and it's huge. They're frightening. There was a guy on my parents were watching Naked and Afraid. There was a guy who was 6'7", or like 6'6" or something like that, and he was reaching as far as he could, like up to the top of like this tree to get some fruit, and there were like claw marks from a bear like a good like inch or two above where his hand was.
Yeah.
So like bears are massive. It's not good.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with them.
Have you seen The Revenant?
Yes.
No.
There's a bear situation.
There's a horrific event.
No, but yeah, that's if you want to see a bear in full fight or flight, watch that film.
Dude, that scene is too stressful to watch.
It's a good scene.
Yeah, it's great.
Cool. Let's do the next one.
Give us some hot ones.
When is the last time you stayed up past 4 a.m?
Man,
almost
this
last
month.
night.
It's been a while for me.
Oh yeah, I've definitely done it recently.
Actually, not true. I've definitely stayed up around 4 a.m. in maybe the last couple months, but there were times certainly when I would stay up like frequently past 4 o'clock, but lately not so much.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty funny question, because we frequently have the discussion that 4 a.m. is the point of no return.
Yeah.
Have we talked to you about this, Jordan?
I think I've been a part of this conversation.
Yeah, so like amongst our friend group, 4 a.m., staying up and past 4 a.m. is called the point of no return, where if you've made the decision to stay up past 4 a.m., you're committed to like suffering the consequences in whatever form they come. Either like you just don't sleep, and then you're up all day and you know fuck up your sleep schedule and like your perception of time for a good amount of time, or you go to bed. Even if you go to bed right at 4 a.m., you still have a chance to get like a decent amount of sleep before something, unless you have to be up at like 6 a.m. Then it's like, why were you staying up that late in the first place?
Yeah.
But if you go to bed at 4 a.m., wake up at like 9 or 10, 5-6 hours of sleep, it's not that bad. Anything past that is like you're in the red zone.
Yeah.
So it's funny that they specifically said, when was the last time you stayed up past 4 a.m.? Because that's a tough decision you have to make. You have to commit to that. You can't just willy-nilly stay up past 4 a.m. It's like you have to go all in. No half measures.
I will say I never hit 5. Like if I see 5 on the clock,
you're
when
like,
I'm
this
like
is
going
wrong.
to bed, like I've messed up horribly.
I think what you said was, if you're awake at a time where like real adults, like businessmen, are getting ready for work, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Like you fucked up bad.
Because no one's getting up at 4 a.m. unless you work a ridiculous job.
Or like if you're like working out in the morning, or like doing something like before you go to work. But
business hours start at like 8, so no one's gonna be up at 4.
Yeah, realistically, like 5:36, people are up like already doing something, getting ready for work, and that's not okay. Like if you're still awake and you're just like playing video games or something,
you've made a choice.
You made a choice.
And it's a debatable one.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anything to add to that, Jordan?
No, that all sounds right.
I co-signed that.
Look, that's the rule. 4 a.m.
And it's set in stone. Guys, what's the lamest dessert that people try to pass off as a dessert?
That's tough.
Cookies.
What?
Are you fucking Are you fucking dumb?
I mean,
and
what
I don't mean
then?
I don't mean that cookies are lame. I mean that cookies are lame as a dessert. Like if you ever went to like someone's house for a dinner party and they were like, you know, serve you some food and they're like, all right, let's go watch a movie or whatever, you're hanging out, and they're like, does anyone want dessert? And they just bring out some fucking cookies. I'd be like, where's the dessert? Like, what are you doing? If it's like that's true. Like it's not, I don't view it in my mind as dessert. Like I instinctively think of it more as like a snack.
Breakfast.
Yeah, at a restaurant they would never have like just cookies on the dessert menu.
Yeah, they would never be like, it would never be like flan and like cheesecake or something, and then a cookie.
Oh yeah.
They would never. That's what I mean. Like it would never just have that and then be like chocolate chip cookie, oatmeal cookie. It would be like ice cream and a cookie or something like that. It's never just a cookie. So when people are like, "Oh, I had a little dessert, I had a little oatmeal cookie," I'd be like, "No, it's not a dessert. You had a fucking cookie. Like that's not dessert."
There's a reason that we say, "Do you want a fucking cookie?"
Are donuts dessert?
Because if we said, "Do you want a fucking fudge a la mode sundae?"
People would be like, "Hell yeah!"
People would be like, "Let's go,
dude."
Are donuts dessert?
No. That's a great question.
No,
it's you could eat it for dessert,
but would it be dessert?
And it in of itself is not a dessert.
Okay,
it's not a dessert. Sorry,
I agree with that.
Yeah,
but you see what I mean, right? Do you guys agree with my?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's just interesting that.
Yeah. Are there any others though?
I'm trying to think of like an actual thing that would be on a menu where I'm like, really? Like, this is like lame AF.
I think honestly, like I'm starting to get a little, and it's maybe just because of the area that we live in, like around Seattle. Like, there's a lot of places that like I'm pretty sure Serious Pie has this. They just have like ice cream, like on their thing. Like that's fine, but like nowadays you have to step it up a little bit. Like I get
it
like
has to be like a fancy ass ice cream if you're gonna do that.
Well, like it's like gelato or like you know something that's like some kind of like, you know, house made like buttermilk ice cream or whatever. It's like that's cool, like that's fine. But then most of the time if I hear ice cream, I want something with it. I want like graham cracker, like chocolate, like dipped thing in your ice cream, or like something to like go with it. I don't want just like a bowl of ice cream.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty lame.
Yeah,
that's the lamest, like most acceptable one, I would say.
Chalk one up for Paris month. In Paris, they definitely eat cheese as like a dessert. Like on the dessert menu, they'll have like a cheese platter and like a coffee.
Okay.
An espresso.
I gotta say, I'm a big fan of the whole coffee with dessert thing that Europe's got going on. I think it's a great idea.
I will say the one time I went to, I think is it John Howie's Steakhouse? That was a place I called you, right? I've been there once. They serve a coffee at dinner that I believe is $200 to $300.
What?
It's served in a gilded cup that they claim is like, this is like the greatest coffee in the world. And I was like,
a gilded cup? Do you get to keep the cup?
No, absolutely not. You don't get to keep the cup.
Then why are you paying for it?
The cup is probably worth more than the entire restaurant.
Yeah, it's. I was just like, no, like this is unacceptable. Like,
that's insane, dude.
People, that's not okay.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about dessert coffee or like after meal? I know you don't like coffee.
I drink coffee at any given time of the day, so that's fine with me.
Right, but I mean, like, do you like the idea of that complementing like the the palette or the tones of whatever you're eating?
I mean,
like a
coffee,
chocolate cake with
it goes with coffee goes with sweet stuff, so that's fine with me. I don't get dessert usually, but if I had coffee with it, I would be fine with that.
Have you ever put Choco milk in your cough?
No, and I won't ever.
Have you ever put milk in your cough?
I have.
No, and I won't ever.
How do you like it?
I have.
It's fine. I mean, it's not as sweet as normal creamer, but it does the trick if I need it.
If I don't have creamer. Actually, recently, because I've been making espresso on my crazy espresso machine that takes too long for Jordan specifically.
And most every other normal human.
I don't know about that. I mean, if you're going to buy an extravagant ass machine, it's going to take like 5 minutes. Like,
it's too much time for a cup of coffee. I can make one in 30 seconds.
It takes too much time. No, I think it's totally worth it. And anyway, so because of that, because of the espresso, like the way that it's meant to be enjoyed, I don't put creamer in it because
it's dare put creamer
because
in
it's like
espresso like that.
It tastes like it already has things in it. Like it's not just black coffee. It's like it has like stuff blended into it, so it's actually pretty good.
It's like how you don't put cheese on pizza. You shouldn't put Parmesan on pizza with the shaker. This is a conversation. Do you guys do that?
No,
but
because that's not like it wasn't if it wasn't put on the pizza, it's not intended to be on.
Exactly.
There. Yeah.
I've ordered Romeo's a couple times in the last couple months.
Sorry, Romeo's Pizza and Pasta?
Yeah.
You chose the pizza.
And they
Romeo's?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It is.
It's not. It's actually it's good.
What the hell is happening?
Honestly, they have the best crust ratio.
I like the crust.
It's very like thin, and it's not giant like fluffy crust, which is key to a good pizza.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
But they inside the pizza box, they have grated Parmesan or like Parmesan cheese in there. I'm like, that's like weird. Like, there's already cheese on this pizza. It's one of the key ingredients.
Yeah, I don't feel good about that.
Like, I know like on pasta, like that might be okay.
That makes me feel ill.
People definitely will dump some cheese on that pizza. What was I? What?
Like even when I order delivery, like now that I think about it, if I order delivery from like I haven't in a while, but the last place I ordered it from was Pizza Hut. I didn't get any sort of like. I mean, maybe it's not standard, but I never get any sort of cheese toppings in the box. Like,
yeah, they don't. I don't. Think
and I've ordered from Pagliacci and like Jet City Pizza and all those places. Like, I never get any sort of cheese. Anything. It's all just like marinara or like a little pepperoncini or something.
Yeah,
that's it.
Except Papa John's with the garlic cup, which you need.
The garlic butter or whatever it is.
Yeah,
that's pretty good actually.
Let's go. It's the X factor that decides. Also, with ice cream, if you put Sprinkies on it, do you put Sprinkies on your ice cream? Sprinkles.
If Sprinkies are available, then I will disperse them upon the
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of sprinkles.
Why would you ever?
Not a huge fan of Jimmy's.
Why would you not be a fan of Sprinkies?
Sprinkles are bad.
Why?
Because they're just like
plastic.
Yeah, they taste like chalky, like residue.
I'm actually upset. Like, I don't understand why that's even a.
They're not like horrible, like they don't taste actively bad, but it's just like a chalky candy.
This is coming from a person who like scoops off cream from like your fucking cupcake and you like sprinkles. Like, I don't understand. Like, that's like just another addition of like weird sweet stuff on there.
That's so much different.
I don't really see the correlation there, like, to be honest.
It's just an extra
sweetening
argument
that there's just extra sweetness that doesn't need to be there.
Why would you prefer that on
because
something?
No, it's not that I would prefer it at all. It's just like I would never like. I don't even think about it. I think of it more as like decoration. Like if I see, like if I see like
you want it to be pretty.
Yeah, I guess. Like, if someone gives me a cupcake, first off, I'm not going to eat the fucking cupcake unless I'll eat the cake. I'll eat the cake part. But, like, if I see a cupcake and there's some frosting and there's some Sprinkies on it, like, that looks nice.
Scoop all of them off.
Absolutely. But, like, it looks nice. I would never, if for some reason I did eat cupcakes with the ice cream or with the icing on it, I would never be like, oh, can I have one without sprinkles? Not even an issue.
Okay.
If I had ice cream and I put a little whipped creamy on there, like a good example is like if you order a milkshake from like Red Robin or like any like sit down restaurant or whatever it is, and it's not like in a little cup like fast food style, they're gonna give it to you in like a malt glass and it's gonna have whipped cream and sprinkles on it. And not once have I ever looked at that and been like, I can't drink.
Well, but would you actively put sprinkles on it if you didn't have sprinkles on it in the first place? Would you go out of your way to pour sprinkles on it?
Yeah, that was my question.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
For like decoration purposes.
If you get some, okay, that's weird. If you get some from Baskin Robbins and they add a little sprink shake, would you?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, but not because I like love the flavor. I think it just like adds to the presentation. Mm-hmm. If I was serving it, if I owned a restaurant, 10 times out of 10 when I served ice cream or any sort of like
sprinkles mandatory
for sure.
Did you?
It wouldn't leave that goddamn kitchen without sprinkles on it.
Did you get the unicorn frappuccino when I was out?
No, I didn't actually. No.
That's disappointing.
I refused to be a part of the. I didn't want to be a part of the zeitgeist.
Yeah, but it looked good, so.
I mean, I'm sure it was fine. I was at like.
It looked pretty.
I was at that point in my life where I was boycotting Starbucks. Yeah.
Care to talk more about that?
I just don't like Starbucks.
You hate the man. He hates big coffee.
No, I don't. I honestly think Starbucks tastes bad. Like compared to Mercury's and like making my own coffee or going to like not even like a hipster place anymore. Like there's a bunch of places around here that are like just little like Seattle cafes or whatever that are like chains and they're not like super like underground or anything. They just make like Coffee Lodro or something. They just make better coffee than Starbucks. Mm-hmm. And Starbucks is also really expensive for what you're getting. Yeah. So just don't really appreciate it. I don't have like a vendetta. I don't have a vendetta against like corporate America. I just don't like Starbucks.
Well, you kind of do have a vendetta against corporate America.
I mean, I do for sure. No,
I mean, I 100% do.
I 100% do, even though I said I didn't. No, for Starbucks specifically, it's not like I'm trying to fight against the man. I just don't like it.
All right. Well, you can't avoid it.
That's right. I mean, I'll get it in a pinch if I need some coffee, but it's my like
need some caffeine.
It's my like sixth choice.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of choices here in Seattle.
That's true.
Here and where we live.
We sit here and where we live. The weather's really nice and where we live.
All right. Well, we're looking
lit.
Done with that segment.
Let's go.
Right. We're done with lightning rounds.
We're done.
We're done.
No more.
But not forever, because we'll come back to
Kermit,
Elfster.com.
shut up.
Shout outs to Elfster.
Let's go.
Providing us with some pretty great questions. Some of them not so great.
I was thinking, well, you shouldn't have said that, because I was going to say I was thinking I should give, a little email to Elfster and be like, hey, we've been promoting you guys for a long time. They
won't reply now after hearing this episode. No.
Listen, I take back everything I just said. Elfster is great. Support Elfster.com. They've never made a mistake.
Elfster is
currently
my
not sponsoring
favorite.
us.
Unless they
change.
are now. Who knows? We'll find out later. You'll find out next time on Not So Solid.
What if there's a picture of us just with like a business man or woman just like shaking hands, and then there's like an Elfster.com like little card
watermark?
That would be awesome. All right, let's move on to Whiplash.
Whiplash.
Did you guys get that joke?
Because you did like the thing with your...
Like my neck was like moving very quickly.
Right.
You guys ever had whiplash?
No.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure you'd have to go to the hospital if you had that.
Probably. I don't know.
I'm not weak as fuck.
I have had it where like you turn your neck like sometimes not even that hard, and then like once in a blue moon it'll seize up like a tendon in your neck will like blaze fiery hell.
Oh.
Excuse me. And that's horrible. Does that happen?
That's called paralysis.
I've had that happen sometimes. You just turn your neck like just a little like too quick or like too far, and just like you just get a little
and it's seemingly random.
I mean,
I've done it where I like turn my head like this fast, and then it'll like just randomly light up.
Sometimes you just maybe you slept on your neck wrong or something, and slept in a
I
strange
heard
position.
that happens to people who don't go to the gym and lift hard.
Let's go.
So it never happens to me.
That's right.
Nice,
That's right, Chad.
Chad.
Dude, down at Laguna, I'm surfing all day, bro. Moving my neck back and forth, hitting those shreds. Nothing happens, dude.
Looking forward, looking backward.
Looking forward, looking back into all the people walking me shred, dude. Let's go, dude.
Let's go.
The people walking you shred.
Listen, don't make fun
the
of
Wakandans.
Dude. Whatever, bro.
I'm chill, dude.
Dude, I'm chilling. You're trying to kill my vibe. It's whatever, dude.
All right. Let's move back to Whiplash after our tangent that we just went on.
Our Chad gent.
I vomited from that disgusting combination of words you just created. Whiplash is the wacky film of the week that we polled last week. Hopefully you guys have watched it. We've given you plenty of time to catch up on this movie. I think both you guys have seen this movie, correct?
Yeah.
It's not when it released.
Okay, you're really cool, I guess. Fuck you. You dumb fuck.
You're a dumb fuck.
Anyways, this movie...
More on that later. He didn't just do that for no reason.
Or he did.
No, or did I? Listen, that's the thing about this joke now, is that I can do it whenever I want, and there's no way to tell if I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Anyways, I haven't seen this movie. Well, I have now, but I hadn't seen it beforehand. And so, the wacky film, Whiplash, I thought was pretty frickin' good.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Pretty frickin' or pretty flippin'?
Pretty flippin', pretty heckin' good, man.
Let's go, dude.
What did you guys think of the movie when you saw it? Or should we set up this movie?
Yeah,
sure.
I think Coulter, it's only fair that you do this.
Listen, guys.
Since you're Jasmine's sad.
This movie is a documentary about me, and every twist and turn you'll see, Miles Teller portrays me perfectly and just does his best at me. My job.
You.
No, guys, this movie is about a jazz drummer. He wants to be the greatest, and he's a college-age individual, so he's going to college, and he chooses the best music school there is out there. Schaefer Conservatory in New York.
Is this a real?
I think we're led to believe. No, it's fictional, I think.
Really? I don't know. I didn't look that up.
I think it is.
I've never heard of that personally, but I'm sure it could be real. Lincoln Center is real for sure.
It may also be like, I know Berkeley isn't in New York, but it could be like a version of that.
Yeah.
It could be in that vein.
Anyways, he goes to college, and he obviously he knows that the top band is where he wants to be. And this band is very infamous for having a teacher played by J.K. Simmons, who is very hard on kids and is kind of sociopathic.
A little bit.
Some might say. So yeah, the whole movie is just his adventures with this teacher and him trying to be the greatest, and the teacher standing in his way and creating drama. Now this sounds like it could be kind of lame, but it's filmed in such a way that everything seems so dramatic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's one of the big pluses of the film, is that it really gets you invested in this saga, which could not be that like interesting or important.
It certainly, from the any sort of description of the movie, it's like, oh, it's like this kid who's like trying to learn how to be a great drummer or whatever. It's like, okay, like how is that going to be an exciting movie? And like, you wouldn't know from like anything like hearing about it that this movie is like the way it is. Like, it's very like tense and just like upsetting at points because of just how just like stressful that like the entire movie is. Like, there were many scenes in the movie where it's like, what is like fuck, like this guy is just like nothing is nice here, like this is really bad, like upsetting, like this is like stressing me out because of just how like not violent it is, but the like J.K. Simmons' character is like aggressive and like emotionally abusive in a way that is like hard to watch sometimes because he's just insane. Like, he just ridicules people. The
way that I would like to describe it is it's basically a thriller. Like, this movie has all the elements of a thriller, but
it's 100% a horror movie.
I mean, in a lot of ways, it's pretty horrific. I wouldn't say it's a horror film, but like, it has all the elements of like an action or like, you know, horror thriller where, you know, you're on the edge of your seat the entire time. Like, the way it's filmed is keeping you like just super tense, and like you get like almost anxious watching a lot of the scenes. Like, there's a lot of long cuts, and yeah, stressful is a great word. It's very hard to watch at points, but well worth it.
Yeah, and I think Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons, and those are honestly really the only main characters in the movie. Like, there's
his dad,
but he plays like a bit role, I would say, and another a love interest that also plays a bit role. But like, those two carry the movie mostly because they're the main actors in it. But they also do a really great job. Like, both their performances I thought were pretty good.
Yeah,
if not great.
J.K. Simmons did win Best Actor.
Best Supporting.
No, Best Supporting Actor, sorry.
And I think Miles Teller was nominated, but he definitely didn't win. Because Leo, I think, maybe took that.
Was that Revenant?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to look it up while you guys... I'm curious now. Keep going.
Okay. Obviously, very good performances on both ends. And yeah, I was surprised how much of the movie was accurate to real kind of jazz college scenarios. And I haven't brought this up yet, I guess, but I did drums. I'm a drummer. I did drums and I do drums, and I am drums. So I've been playing drums for a very long time, since I was a wee lad, and I did jazz band like all throughout middle school, high school, and then I went to college for jazz for a little while. And I didn't graduate in jazz, but I had my fair share of experiences.
Right.
Obviously, the behavior of this teacher is not realistic.
A little extreme, I would say.
And especially nowadays, when feelings are so important, and we're starting to like shine more light on mental health and abuse and stuff like that, there's no chance of this guy teaching for more than like 2 seconds after one of these incidents occurs.
Yeah, like that reminds me of like you saying that reminds me of I have a professor right now who was saying that he's like a communications professor, so he does a lot of speeches like outside the school and stuff, and he said that during one of his classes he said the word flip chart, describing a flip chart or whatever, and then afterwards the dean of the school pulled him aside and was like, we've had a complaint, you can't say the word flip chart anymore. Because the word flip might be insulting to some Filipino students. What? And our professor was like, what are you talking about? I've literally never heard that in my life. He asked our class, he's kind of I wouldn't say he's politically incorrect, but he kind of likes to push buttons a little bit. He was like, is anyone in here Filipino? And one person in our class is, and she raised her hand, and he was just like, if I said the word flip chart, would that offend you? And she was like, no, I've never been offended by it. I've never heard that in my life.
Oh, no.
Which, give or take what that means. It is.
Scenario.
It's an incredibly awkward
scenario.
He
did that like in front of the whole class.
In front of the whole class. He's the kind of person who will just like fuck. Like we had a presentation, like persuasive speeches the last couple days.
This prof fucks.
And he's not a fan of like note cards. So
he's more of a fan of flip charts.
He loves flip charts. But one of the other students he came up to do his speech and had some notes and or like note cards. I set him down on the podium. He didn't have them in his hand or something. He's just gonna like look back at them like a normal presenter may do. And the professor, he was just like, "What are those?" And the guy was like, "Oh, those are my notes." He's like, "You don't need those." And then he just went up and took them away from him, and then just sat down and was like, "Go ahead." And the student was just he literally was just like, "What do you like? I need my notes." He's like, fine. And then he just like got up and gave them back to him. I was just like, Jesus, this is like brutal to watch.
That's really
he's just
hard.
A savage.
Damn.
But it was he's funny too. So like everyone kind of has it's good faith, but that just reminds us like
that's
the political correctness
similar to
a little bit. But he's not as rude.
That for sure.
Of course you would, because you hate authority. It's established.
That's rude.
Sorry. Listen, we don't have to get into it, okay?
No, that's...
He was saying the behavior of the teacher was rude.
That's very rude.
I mean, listen, he's trying to push people beyond their expectations.
That's not the way to do it.
So yeah, this whole movie, like, you see this horrible abusive behavior, and then like at the end they try to like make you sympathize with how he was like behaving or whatever. And they do a good job of it, because you are kind of like, okay, I understand where he's coming from, but at the end of the day, he committed a crime. Yeah,
and also, like, there's clearly a lot more baggage that needs to, like, be brought out and talked about between the two of them when, like, during the middle of their final, like, presentation, or, like, their final, like, ensemble thing.
We're probably just going to spoil this, by the way.
Listen, I won't get too into it, but he's just like, he's like, hey, I know, like, you're the one who did it. And it's just like, oh fuck, like, okay, like, I have to imagine that J.K. Simmons' character would have been very upset that he got removed from his teaching role, because he clearly enjoyed it. Not enjoyed it, but he had a purpose in life that he found from that. And it's just like, well, this one kid kind of ruined that. Like,
yeah,
it seems like there would have been a little more to talk about there, but clearly his performance at the end pushed that aside. So
yeah, I loved that whole situation, because you're not really sure. Throughout the movie, you're not really sure, is he like a psycho? Like, does he take pleasure? Is he a sadist? Does he take pleasure from like making these kids feel pain? And when you see him, like, oh, he's talking to the main character about like his family or whatever, and he's like being a nice guy.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, is he like a nice guy? Is he not? And then he goes in and uses that stuff he just learned to just be like, oh yeah, that's why mommy walked out on daddy, huh? And then like he's just a nightmare boy. So yeah, every decision or every situation that happens in the movie, you're like, okay, is he doing this because he's being genuine, or is he a master Muppeteer and just like puppeting everyone around him? And it turns out he basically is a Muppeteer.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I still think at the very end, when he's kind of out of his role, like he has a talk with the main character Andrew in like a bar, talking about a jazz bar, just talking about like his like ideas for what he was doing. And I'm not saying that his execution of his ideas is good or acceptable anyway, but clearly he has a like idea in his head of what he is doing and stuck with it, and I can respect that. But he clearly went about it in not a great way, I would say. But I believe that his character like believed that he was pushing these people to become something great.
Yeah,
and
I also think that there's it is kind of a timely thing a little bit, because we have like people that say, oh, no participation medals, like don't baby your kids, they need to like learn what it's like in real life. But then we have the people that are like, oh, mental health, abuse, like feelings are important, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I think like that speech where he's talking about why he did what he did has been like clipped and like posted before, and like I think one of the biggest quotes is like, there's no two words more harmful in the English language than good job. And that's been like, posted everywhere, and people agree with that. But it's like, I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't agree with that wholeheartedly. There's a line that can be drawn between,
and it's called physical harm.
I didn't actually take that as him being genuine or actually laying out anything that he actually believed. that as him like
as in Muppeteering.
Yeah, like I didn't. Yeah, I took it as him saying what Andrew wanted to hear in terms of
he
what
definitely was doing
he wanted to basically tell Andrew. First, his end goal was to bring him back to the band so that he could get revenge on him. That was all he was really doing in that scene. But I think what he was doing was essentially like that. This is where the sociopathy thing comes in because he's honestly just trying to manipulate him into like feeling a certain way that he can take advantage of. So he was basically just trying to like coddle him and be like, yeah, like you're gonna be a legend. Like I did all this to help you.
Really
like
did find
like,
my Charlie Parker.
Yeah. Like oh man, that's too bad. Like you were so good. Like he didn't say that, but he was basically just making him feel like Andrew in that moment was like, damn, like I could have been great. Like this could have been the guy to make me like achieve my dreams. And then he ropes him in and just tries to just destroy him. But Andrew isn't having it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in a way, he did turn him into.
In a way, his vision
turned him into a legend.
Real.
Yeah, but the ending can be interpreted in different ways. Yeah. Like that's why I like the ending actually, because it's a little it's not ambiguous, but it's I don't know. It's
bittersweet and multifaceted.
Yeah, ambiguous is not the word because it's like somewhat clear what is happening in the end sequence there, but it can be just like it can be interpreted in different ways.
I think like J.K. Simmons' like characters' motivations are like muddy throughout the entire movie, and at no point are they clear. Like even the ending is not clear because it's like, okay, well, like he was still very upset with him like during that whole performance, but you know, clearly at the very end he was like, well, he must have liked something about it because it was happening. You know, like he
was like smiling or whatever.
I think it was more like he was probably just happy to see Andrew take initiative. Like throughout most of the movie, he's kind of like, not weak, but like he doesn't have like a lot of drive. He has a lot of drive to be the best, but he doesn't have any like interest in doing what it takes to do that. Like which is like a very vague way of saying it, but like he at the very very end, I think Fletcher was more happy to see him like blossom into like what he knew he could be rather, and I think he was more happy for Andrew than he was for like achieving his dreams, because I don't think he was that interested at that point. He wasn't a teacher anymore. Like he wasn't interested in like creating like a Charlie Parker. I think he was more interested in for initially like just ruining Andrew, but then by the end I think he was somewhat satisfied that he had like he was relieved of control. Like he was no longer in control of Andrew. Like Andrew was in control of like his career, like his destiny or whatever. Yeah. So that's what I got. But I'm sure everyone has a different interpretation of this. That's the cool part.
I think the ending is really what solidifies it as like a good movie, a good like, you know, art piece, not just, you know, a standard A, B, and C movie. Coupled with the fact that we never really do see like the motivations of the teacher and whether or not he really cares. Because like in some movies, you know, you'll get there's never a scene of J.K. Simmons by himself. Like if we had seen that and seen like his home life and like what he really values, then we would know.
We only see him in the situations where he's destroying people.
That's right. Yeah. So that's really interesting to me. And then the scene, like the whole ending, when I saw that in the theater, when he goes up and he's like, I know it was you, like you fucked me or whatever. Yeah. Like that was like, oh shit, dude. Oh no.
And they're already on stage, and then
and then the moment where he says a song where the main character doesn't have the music for it, and then he just looks over and everybody's like pulling out the music, and he's like, oh no. I've basically had dreams like that where it's like you're like a nightmare sitch where you don't have the music.
That is horrific, especially when he got played exactly into where Fletcher wants him. He played right into his hand. Yeah. And
as you're watching it, you're like, okay, he should like kind of try to play something, like improvise, but in reality, probably what I would have done is just walk off immediately. Like, you don't have the music, you don't know the song, like leave.
Yeah, don't
like,
play. Yeah.
I think there's a part, like I knew this wasn't going to happen in this movie, but I can imagine a different, like if this movie had a kind of different themes to it, and it was a much more like straightforward and nice movie. It's like, oh, he's like improvising, like, oh wow, he actually like, you know, is like catching on, like doing something well. But it's like, no, he just fucked up real bad.
This is not
just, like, this isn't happening. This isn't working.
That's not this kind of movie.
But
could you imagine if he walked off and like hugged his dad and then the movie was just over?
That honestly could have been an ending, but like I would have been incredibly disappointed if that had been the end, because I wanted to see him, like, I knew, you know, that he's like very good at what he's doing, so you kind of want to see him succeed a little bit. But I'm glad it ended the way it did, because I think also like the music in this movie, I'm a fan of jazz. It's very fun to listen to.
It's pretty incredible. Yeah. I was going to say that with the end sequence, basically the entire end sequence up from the point where he says, like, I know it was you, is like a more exciting confrontation between like two, like a protagonist and antagonist, kind of, than like most movies I've seen recently that I can't even think of. Like, I can't really think of a moment like between, even like in like Marvel movies or like a typical action movie where it's like the like Die Hard or whatever. Like I can't think of anything that comes close to like the tension that you feel between these characters, and they're not even like physically in contact with each other. They're literally just like, Fletcher is standing still, like using his hands and like his like gestures,
they're not,
and they're
just trying to fight.
Yeah, they're not like, they don't have like a knife that they're like struggling with or anything. It's just like they're literally on stage playing jazz music. But the way it's filmed, it's A+. It's amazing, and it like, it's a long sequence too. That's like a 15 minute, like 20 minute sequence. It's like the whole like ending, like climax of the movie is pretty long. So good stuff.
Yeah.
I love that whole end sequence. It's great.
Yeah. And when he goes back after having fucked up really bad and goes back on stage, and then you realize like the conductor doesn't actually have control over what happens. Like, he has control, especially as a drummer, as like kind of the core of the band. Like, you have the ability to like change what is being played. So when he realizes that and then just goes in, that was an extremely exciting and rewarding moment.
There's a lot of moments in that I really enjoy where he just interrupts him in the middle of him being like, we're going to do something a little slow, and then he just goes right into it, and he turns around and he's like, what the fuck is happening? But then also like when he walks up to the drum set and he's like trying to talk shit to him, and then he slams the cymbal and it hits him in the face.
That was a little silly to me, but
I kind of like that because it was just like,
it was good.
Like, it was like boiling, like the tension was boiling at that point.
Yeah.
The part that I actually love about that whole end sequence, like the best part in my opinion, is where it cuts to his dad, and then like his dad like is like giving me like chills, because he's like, you can see he's like almost afraid. He's like, oh man, like what is he doing to like he's sacrificed so much to become like whatever he's become. Like, is it worth it? Because you can definitely see his dad is like a little like distraught over what he's seeing.
Yeah, his dad does a good job too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also another interesting and fun thing about this movie, you could say fun, is that there's all sorts of crazy one-liners and like cursing and like just quotes from the teacher that are just hilarious.
Just insane. Everything he says almost.
Yeah. But somehow the one quote that we've said the most is not from the teacher, but from the other drummer.
Yeah.
When the main character loses the music in one scene, the other drummer is just like, no, where the fuck is it? You dumb fuck. And then he's just like, you're a dumb fuck.
You're a dumb fuck.
You're a dumb fuck. And he like screams as loud as he possibly can.
The way he says you're a dumb fuck is one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
Find the fucking folders. A fucking janitor. You're a dumb fuck. A dumb fuck. Find the folder. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like, imagine someone screaming as loud as they possibly can in the middle of like a school hallway. Like,
yeah, this is the audio equivalent of the pie cut for us. Like the thing we latched onto the most, like seemingly random thing. It was pretty great.
Yeah, and there's quite it's very creative how the teacher weaves his insults. Although very offensive.
He's incredibly offensive and abusive.
One of the most offensive characters in any movie I've seen, probably.
One of the ones we can say is when he says, I'm going to fuck you like a pig.
Yeah. That's just like one of like the first things we hear is like, oh.
It's like, you're looking for a fucking Mars bars down there? Mars bar? Man, like he just goes in. Really quickly, I wanted to just say, watching this movie, I think I've seen it twice before this. I definitely remember seeing it like, I didn't see it in theaters actually, but I saw it when it came out on iTunes or whatever. And I think I've watched it since with someone else who hadn't seen it. But upon a more recent viewing, I have to say, like, I think in maybe not of all time, but in the modern day, like a modern age of filmmaking, I would say this is one of the best shot movies I've seen, like the best edited and shot movies I've seen that I can think of.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there. I like the whole sequence where he's going to like the second performance they have, and he's kind of like he's running late, like the bus breaks down, and he has to like go back and forth between like a car rental place to get his sticks, which is like this is like the most tense, like one of the most tense points in the movie, and it's about him forgetting his drumsticks. It's just like how is this an incredibly tense moment, and it's just like oh like fuck, like this is like going, like the clock is like ticking, like quickly flashes, like oh god, yeah, it's like 10 minutes to do this, like this is insane. And then of course he just gets fucking hit by a truck. It's like oh my god, like none of this is like this is all just happening in one like very just like short time frame, but it's just wild.
And then he gets out of the truck and the guy's like, you okay? And he's like, I gotta get my sticks. And he's like, no, you need to like you need to sit down, like you're not doing okay. Ambulance. And then he just like, man, that was I felt like physically stressed when I was watching that for the first time. Like I actually didn't feel well when I was seeing that.
And also he is also incredibly stressed. He's like on the phone. He's like just fucking like tell him, just like shut the fuck up.
He's having like what can be described as a mental breakdown. He is breaking. Like he's actually having like mental issues. Which is not good. And then of course he physically assaults his teacher, which is also quite terrible. But
things fell apart.
He was pushed to his breaking point.
Yeah, there are a couple things that were pretty... I wanted to bring up just a couple things that were incredibly inaccurate about the portrayal of drumming and, you know, stuff like this. So when he's practicing... Do you think you're an
authority on this? Or?
No. No, when he's practicing and he's like... and he's literally like sweating, and then you see his hands and they're bleeding. Like, okay, sure. Like, it's possible to get to that point if you're doing it wrong. Like... If you're actually practicing right, like when I teach drums, I tell people you're trying to like do everything as relaxed as possible. Like you're not trying to, when you see the end shot of him like doing that drum roll where it's like and it like slows down and it shows the shot of the guy's hands, it's literally just his wrists like moving like incredibly fast. Like when you look at the shots of Miles Teller, because obviously the shots where they film that is like an actual drummer like doing a drum roll, and then when they cut back to Miles Teller, he's like flailing around like a fucking idiot.
Miles Teller did all of the
he did drumming, but there are shots of like just hands. There's a shot of just hands.
Yeah, it's all him.
Okay, it might be him, but it's like a sharp contrast from when it cuts to him and he's flailing around. Listen, when this whole movie, like almost all the drumming that you see was pre-recorded in a studio. Like it's way too like highly edited, and like you can hear the difference. Like you can hear even when there's a couple times in the movie where they use the actual audio from the drum kit and you can hear the switch.
Yeah, but I mean, like in terms of like the shots of him on the drum sets, like that's all.
There's a lot of times where he's actually playing, but also when you see that, what he's playing is not what you're hearing. There's a lot of stuff that you hear happen that he's not playing, and just looking at his stance and all the drummers in the movie, their stances, they're all like super like hunched over, and like they're not fluid, and it doesn't look like they're an actual drummer. Just like as a drummer, I can tell immediately they're not a real drummer. Also, another thing that is pretty accurate is when he asks them to do like, when he's like, okay, from bar 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they do like 3 seconds, and then he's just like, okay, and then he just cuts them off. Like that is a pretty accurate thing. Like you can tell immediately how experienced someone is, like just from 2 seconds. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Any other inaccurate things? Oh, the drum solo at the end when it's just him playing by himself. It starts out very jazz-like, and the when he goes into the double time swing and it like gets really quiet, the sound basically like cuts out into just like a wind noise or something like that.
Like an ambient noise.
Yeah. That part is very accurate to like a real double time swing. Like whoever recorded that was like really, really good at that. So that was really good. And then, but then that drum solo devolves into rock drum solo. Like no one in like a real jazz performance would ever be just double like bass drum. There was a double bass drum in like the recording, just hitting the bass drum like a million times in a row, and then he was hitting like every cymbal like back and forth.
That was when the camera kept like cutting.
And then when J.K. Simmons is like is motioning for him to like hit multiple like cymbals, I'm like, no, this is just the fakest thing I've ever seen. And then at like Lincoln Center, like with all those like old people and then like supposedly you know high up like jazz people that he's like, oh, they can make a call and then you'll be like a core member of, you know, whatever. It's like you would never do like a thrash like drum solo in that situation. So yeah, that was very inaccurate at the end.
Drum solo.
That's right. But other than that, like obviously it was a very exciting.
What?
You're shaking your head. But yeah, it was a very exciting situation, so I understand why they did it, and it was still very fun to watch. But
it was thrilling.
Yeah. Jazz is all about nuance and subtlety, and that at the end was not.
Was the quite opposite of that? Yeah.
That's right. Also, the last thing is like when the bro dude comes in, the Ryan dude.
Ryan Connolly did.
Ryan Connolly.
Ryan Chad,
dude. That guy's fucking lit, dude.
Yeah. The teacher is like, I brought Ryan in to see if he can do this. I've actually already given them the charts. And then the dude walks in, he's like already smiling. He's like, hey guys, I'm here to drum. And then he doesn't actually say that, but he has that look on his face the whole time.
Yeah.
And then when he's going to sit down to play, and then he asks for the main character's drumsticks, and then he like Miles Teller just looks at the teacher like,
he's like, what the fuck is
happening?
Are you
fucking kidding me with this? That's like very realistic. Like, bring your own sticks. No one ever, if you have to ask for someone else's sticks, you fucked up really bad, like as a drummer.
He makes a point of that in the second like performance where he's like, you forgot your sticks, like get the fuck out of here. And it's like,
but in real life, like obviously if someone has sticks, you're gonna lend your sticks. But
in this high intensity situation though, fuck off.
That's right.
So have you guys ever seen any other jazz related movies or anything remotely similar to a movie like this?
Not really. I want to see that movie Get On Up. I think that's what it's called with James Boseman's portrayal of
Curtis Mayfield.
It's James Brown.
Oh, James
the movie
Brown.
About James Brown.
Okay. Why am I thinking
James
of...
Brown.
Oh, because Curtis Mayfield recorded a cover of Get On Up? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's Get On Up. But I think what Get On Up refers to in that movie is Get Up, Get On Up.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Like a machine.
Yep.
Like a sex machine.
Yep.
Which is a James Brown song.
I did not connect that. My brain cells didn't connect.
I was about to say. So yeah, no, I haven't really seen a movie like this exact thing.
I guess the closest thing that I can think of that I've only seen like 2 episodes of is Kids on the Slope, but that's like a far cry from even this.
Yeah.
Like, and that's also an anime.
You've heard of that? Oh,
I've watched it.
It's an anime.
It's an anime about a jazz group.
Oh, that's cool.
It's fun anime. It's pretty good actually.
It's the same guy who did Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, completely different tonally.
Yeah, it's like he's a very acclaimed
newer than
anime director.
Yeah, it's one. I think it might be his newest thing that he's put out lately. But
was Space Dandy newer than that?
I don't know.
It's within the past like 4 years, probably.
Yeah, I think it came out in 2011 or 2012. But it's good. It's a fun look. It's where I didn't get started to get interested in jazz, but there's a lot of good songs in there, a lot of good music, and it's just a fun story. But it's not as dark as this one or as like stressful. It's a little bit more
like a
friendship, family journey, but it's cool.
Friendship, family journey.
Yeah,
it's definitely a lot lighter hearted than.
Yeah.
Still, from what I saw, deals with serious subject matter in some.
There's some stuff in there, yeah. But all right, shall we give our reviews for this?
Yeah. Should we give our in-depth reviews?
All right, now I need you guys to talk about what you liked and disliked about the movie.
Okay,
right.
So firstly, it was bad.
What?
Wait.
Is this movie worse than Following?
No.
Okay, good.
Wait,
hold on.
I'm confused.
Sure. I'm just curious.
Is it better than Following? Yes.
No.
Is this one of the best movies we've seen on the list? Yes.
I would probably say that.
Am I going to give it an A? Yes, I am.
It's a straightforward movie.
It is.
Which is why I love it.
But it's also not in some ways.
Yeah, there's like different themes to be had from the source.
Yeah.
Source material.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an A. I just figured I'd go first.
Go ahead.
I do very much enjoy this movie. Like I said, I think it's very well shot. I think it's very well edited. I like the music. I think the performances are great. The two main performances are really, really good. And they, like Jordan was saying, they managed to make a movie about a drummer boy one of the most thrilling movies I've seen probably ever. So great film. Really enjoy it. It's hard to really find any negatives. I think maybe like the only negatives that I can really think of are in getting into the realm of nitpicks, which I hate to do, but it'd be like some time jumps that they do with him. Like they just kind of like jump around with him actually like making his progression as a musician in like his band. Like there's a lot of sequences where like the point between where he is like gets the chair thrown at his head or whatever and like is getting just pushed to the edge because all his friends are dead. Let's go. Lols. No, but like that whole sequence too where they have their first performance, like he like even Fletcher references is like you better perform better than you did like a couple months ago or whatever it is, and it's literally been like 2 scenes since that's happened, like 2 main like sequences since that. So like there's a little stuff like that where I just wish that it was a more contained kind of thing, and then maybe they can reserve the time jumps for like when he leaves Schaefer and like has a whole thing at the end. But that's just like a nitpicky kind of thing. I just feel like they didn't like, in some ways they kind of jumped through some of the stuff too fast. But wait, hold on. But regardless, I'll give it an A because that's hardly even a negative for me. So
yeah.
All right, Coulter.
On my recommendations scale, I would recommend this to mostly anyone. It is a rated R film for language only, but that's fair enough. For
good reason.
Yeah. But I do think that if you're younger than 17 or whatever, like as long as you're older than like 13 or whatever, you should be able to be fine with this because you've heard worse in Fortnite.
That's so true.
That's right. If you've played PUBG like twice,
if you've been in the plane ever, you've heard worse things.
If you played online video games,
if you played Call of Duty, boy.
Yeah. So yeah, I think basically anyone could enjoy this film. It's straightforward, great, fun. Not that fun, but tension-filled movie. It has all the most satisfying elements of a good film.
Entertaining,
especially if you like jazz. I guess if I had to not recommend it to anyone, I mean, if you really don't like seeing people be abused,
that's certainly something that's like, okay, if you just like don't
verbally,
like he gets incredibly aggressive, and it's like, okay, I could see some people being like, I don't like what's going on here. It's like, okay, like that's, you can take that stance, but make it that way you will.
I think it's important to see the whole of the movie and take something from it, whatever that may be. I think it's important to endure the abuse.
Yeah, but in any case, basically anyone should watch this movie, and I very highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, probably.
All right. I'm going to depart from my usual scale. That's never usual, but I'm not going to do a out of this time. I'm going to give this movie First Chair.
Okay.
It's a great film.
That's still kind of in your realm of...
Yeah, but I was like, can I do First Chair out of 10? I was like, no, because that sounds like 1 out of 10. And that's the opposite of what I want to give this movie.
Yeah. But it's a core film.
Yeah.
It's not an alternate.
I almost went with that. I almost went with core out of alternate, but I was like, no, that just is dumb as hell. Anyways.
This is movie, a studio ensemble out of...
Yeah. I was like, can I do 5 drums out of 5? No, that's silly. First Chair.
Also, core and alternate is like not a standardized term. I've never heard that in my many years of playing.
That's what they do at fancy art schools, Coulter.
I'm sure.
That's probably what it is.
Never heard it because I'm not good enough to hear that term.
I've never heard it, and I am the optimal jazz drummer.
Yeah, this is a great movie. I can't find much to rail on it about. It's great. It's exciting for a film that. From the description, doesn't sound like it would be, but it's well acted, well paced, has a great soundtrack.
No time is wasted whatsoever.
No time is wasted at all.
The pacing is amazing.
For better or for worse sometimes. I do think Dane's point with like the skips, like it would be nice to see him train or like practice a little more. Like they do have some scenes of that, but it doesn't.
They basically just, instead of showing like him over time practicing, they show him practicing like as hard as if you combine all of that into just one session of 1 minute of him just going,
yeah, like, which I really enjoy. Like I said, it's not like a huge negative, but just for some reason, like, that when I look back and I'm like, I kind of wish they would have had more, like, but then also when I think about it, all the scenes that they show are pretty purposeful and meaningful. Like you said, there's not a moment wasted. There's no like slow time. They're never bored. So maybe it's good that they stuck to like the impactful scenes rather than giving us like some shitty montage of him like, here's him in the springtime, like wearing spring clothes, and now he's wearing like a winter hoodie and he's still training. Like that would just be kind of lame. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's a good stylistic decision. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, one of my favorite movies that I've seen from the list so far. So yeah, great film. Please watch it if you haven't already. If you haven't watched it, don't listen to this because we've spoiled a lot of it.
It's too late.
I'm definitely going to put a warning.
Last question, and the most important one. Is this better than La La Land?
Yes.
100%. It's not even close. There's nothing similar about this movie and that movie.
La La Land is a great film, but it has zero emotional value compared. Like this movie is on a completely different level than La La Land.
I do think that when they're like walking the streets of LA and like he goes into that club, or like, is it she goes into the club where he's playing or something like that? You get a little bit of that, and then spoiler alert at the very end of La La Land. That moment where like you see him on stage and he sees her with like her, significant other or whatever. Yeah. That's kind of a bittersweet, type of situation that's akin to what happens at the end of Whiplash to some degree.
Where which is interesting because, well, we don't have to get into it rather, but the interesting part of that is at the end, similar to this one kind of, in a different kind of way, they both have achieved their dreams, but without each other.
Of becoming Sad Jasmine.
Of Sad Jasmine and Sad Actress Woman's. They both achieved their dreams and are happy in their own way.
In spite and because of each other.
Of each other, yeah. And so it's like that bittersweet kind of thing where, like, would they have been happier, like, with each other if they had never achieved their dreams but had that love that they had? Or is it better that they parted ways and succeeded because of it? Whereas in this one, it's like, okay, he supposedly succeeded and achieved his dreams, but at what cost? And also, is Fletcher, was that really his true goal, or is he like, so there's like that whole ambiguity kind of at the end, sort of. It's somewhat clear, but
But La La Land is also a cheesy fuck.
Yeah, La La Land is a cheesy fuck. Is much more
it's a dumb fuck,
heartwarming and kind of just like, oh yeah, this is a fun little romp. But Whiplash is a much better film.
Yeah, I do love La La Land, but
it's great. It's a great film. But all right. At the end of this podcast, we will be drawing another film that you will have 1 week to watch.
I'm already nervous.
The list is running short. I don't know what's left on there.
A lot of Disney Channel original movies, and boy, that's gonna be lit.
There's more than a few, and I'm not excited.
There's two.
There's 3 maybe.
We watched Halloweenton.
That's it.
And then we have Xenon Girl of the 21st Century. We have Don't Look Under the Bed. We have.
I think there's only one. I think there's only 4 total.
Okay.
What's the
13th Year?
No.
Oh wait, no, we didn't put that on there. No.
Merman.
Merman.
Oh, Luck of the Irish.
That's it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So we've only seen one so far.
Chances are we might pick one of those at the end of this.
It's real. Yeah,
I'll be excited.
That's gonna be fun.
All right. I think that's gonna do it for me. You guys haven't watched any other movies, correct?
No.
No.
Good.
Even if I did, I might not bring it up.
Good, because I don't want to hear about it, Coulter. You dumb fuck.
I'm sorry.
All right, let's move on to our final segment.
You dumb fuck.
Video games.
Yeah?
Or are we? I don't know. What's the time? What's our time?
Listen, I'll let you know right now.
Great. Let's talk about video games.
Yeah, let's talk a little video games here.
Have you guys been playing any?
Yes.
I haven't that much, but I know you've probably been playing God of War, so let's hear it.
Guys, it's time for God of War Corner. It returns, just like Perry month.
God of War.
It's God of War month.
Corner.
So I've been grinding through a little bit.
Let's go.
It might be finally time to include some spoilers. Sorry, guys, it's Spoilercast 2018 here. So yeah, if you haven't played through God of War, you might not want to listen to this little part because I'm going to spoil something. So yeah, I have now, the part I'm at is we're back in Hell for the second time.
Oh, okay.
Atreus is back, and we just found out that Baldur is the son of what's her face, the witch,
Freya.
Yeah. So that's how far I'm at. A lot of stuff has happened. He got back the Chaos Blades, which was oh shit.
How did you feel about that? How lit was that?
Listen, that would have been. The only bad thing about that is that it would have been so much more lit if I had played all the other games when they came out, and then I waited all the way up until this moment and like cared so much. And then he like did that. That would have been like the greatest like fan service like moment of all time.
Even
because
without,
I did that.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Even without having played the other games, I still, even when that moment came up, I was like, oh, like fuck. Like when he puts the Blades of Chaos on, I was like, shit is about, like something has to happen.
He's about to go in.
Something's like you don't put those on without a reason, and then he just fucking goes in with them.
Yeah, and then when you walk outside and people start showing up, and then
like, yes,
and then you're like spinning them around and like fucking people up. That was great.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
amazing
the
sequence.
Blades of Chaos.
Yeah. So that was very satisfying.
You're right about how it feels, because after playing those games, especially in this one where they kind of give more weight to his past and what those blades mean to him, especially after playing the games and him putting them on, and you like basically, and it's interesting because a lot of those moves are the exact same as on the PS2, but they look amazing in this game because the camera angle is a little bit different, so you can see a lot of like his animations and like his like, you know, the way he like contorts his face in anger while he's like flying him around. It was pretty awesome. Like when he put those on, I like was so pumped. I was so excited for that. So great moment. I think that's probably like in terms of like emotional excitement, that's probably the high point of the game for me. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So so you said you played them when they came out.
No, not when they came out, but I played like.
Okay, I was.
No,
question you.
No, not when they came out. Yeah, I played 1 and 2, like when they first launched on the PS3, like in the HD collection, which was still like somewhat. It was like 2008.
Yeah,
or something like that.
So I was like, if you played God of War when it came out, you were 10.
No, I definitely didn't. I remember playing the demo disc on PlayStation Magazine. That was
I actually remember that.
Yeah, that was great, and it's the opening boat level with like the Hydra or whatever. And then I played
scene in that demo. Where
there is, yeah, with the candle or whatever, or the statue.
Well, the girls are in the hot tub.
Oh yeah.
And then it pans away, and then you press buttons.
Yep. And then I played God of War 3. I remember really short tangent. I played God of War 3. My parents went on a like their anniversary trip or something to San Diego. And so like, this is one of the first times where like my parents,
Where in San Diego?
It was like 85th Street.
Okay.
No, but like the reason I say that is because it was like one of the first times that my parents left for like a long time. Like they were gone for like a week or something like that.
3 years.
Like at least like 4 years or something.
Later
but like,
on in your life, they would leave for an even longer period.
Right. No, but like when you're a kid, you're like,
kidding.
when you're like, oh, I have like the house to myself for like a week or whatever. Like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And like before, like my parents left, I was like, I want to go. Wait, hold on.
Man.
Eat a lot of junk food.
That's right.
No, but like I remember I went to like Game Crazy or like GameStop or whatever, and I bought God of War 3. And this was like somewhat close to it coming out. Like it was still pretty like fresh, and it was people were talking about it. And I remember being so pumped to play that, and I literally just binged that game for like. I remember it being really hot in my house too. It was like so it was like in July or something.
There are a couple games I associate with heat.
Dude, it was like 80, like it was like 90 plus like degrees in my house. It was so hot.
Yeah.
And so I was playing that game, and I remember like that's one of my fondest gaming memories. So that game is amazing. So I do have some connections to the God of War games, and so playing this like it made it even cooler.
So your Schweena did get quite firm.
Fully erect.
God damn it.
It was fully erect.
Nice.
Let's go.
Yeah. So
Schweena.
got through that. The Atreus storyline, interesting, or like the fall and return of little baby Atreus when he like.
Did you like the way that was handled?
I actually didn't like that part.
I didn't like that either.
I did like when he was when they were going to Tyr's vault, and then what's his face shows up, and then he's like. Little baby Atreus is like, I'm mad at you, and then he's like, and you like start to see him like almost go into rage or whatever, and then he like falls down. I thought that was kind of cool. I liked that.
I just didn't like.
But I mean, like
his character like downfall at that part was like it felt so sudden, and like it
felt very ham-fisted.
Yeah, there didn't seem to be a rhyme or reason to it, and I was just like.
But Jordan, they mentioned the sickness so many times.
They did, but they didn't mention the sickness turned into a fucking brat. Like that whole sequence, I was just like,
but that's not the sickness doing that.
It's not. The sickness just makes him sick. Like
the sickness is him is like his. Yeah, that has nothing to do with him being a fucking douche.
Yeah,
like he's just
I was
a little
comment
dick.
on that because these are separate things.
Yeah, it seemed counter to what Kratos had been teaching the entire time. And it was like, why? Like Kratos is the kind of person who seems like he should have just been like, Atreus, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, stop being like a dick to the dwarves. Like, stop trying to murder everything. Like, this is not what we do. And like, he doesn't really do that for a while. I was like, this doesn't seem like how Kratos or Atreus should be going.
Yeah, I didn't like that sequence because it pretty much
it seemed kind of corny. Like, I didn't like.
You summed it up pretty well. Like, I just don't like how it felt very sudden, and it also felt like they jumped right into like the heart of that that conflict between them like right away. Like there was no build up to him starting to show signs of it, and then Kratos was like, yo, you should like chill out, and then he just kept going. It was more like, okay, here we go. Oh, Atreus is a douche now, and then it just happens for a little bit of time, and then it's like not, I mean, maybe it's because I played the game like in small chunks, like I just played a lot of it and binged it, but it seemed like it didn't last that long. Like him, Atreus being like a little dick, it wasn't that long at all. Like, and then he got like just shown his stuff by Baldur, and then he was fine. Like, I don't know, it seemed kind of lame.
That's the
only part I had an issue with the narrative.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it.
I do think that it was sudden and very like they hit it on the head really hard. And something that I wanted to bring up was that they hit the teenage like angst angle so hard that he literally said whatever like 13,000 times. Like he would say it whenever you were like, okay, fire an arrow, and then he'd be like, whatever.
And honestly, I think that part I find really interesting because it's like that's a gameplay mechanic where like, okay, I need a trace to start shooting. But like, and then he's just like, no, like fuck, like I don't want to anymore. It's like, dude, I need you like start shooting. Like I need you to do something.
I need you to do some shit.
He's like, nah. I was like, God, you're such a little prick.
Because that doesn't necessarily happen at first, but then once you get into that big hall, you have like a fight with some people. And I had actually thought before that, I was like, oh, this would be kind of interesting if he refuses to like do my commands or whatever, and then that actually happened. And I was like, okay, they did a good job with that whole
or him
situation.
Like using like his like runic summons by himself too. I was like, this is a neat thing. I was like, I saved those for important moments, and he's just using willy-nilly like whenever he wants. It's like, you better,
that's kind of a novel,
boy, you better not do this again.
I didn't, well, quick note, I never used those runic summons once.
That's insane to me.
I never used those.
Not a single time.
I don't remember.
I only used the wolf one, which is the first one I got, and I've never switched it.
I didn't switch it.
I never even read about how to pull it off. I thought it was just like it would give me a prompt, and it never did. And I just
hold square.
It. Yeah, I know that. But
no, Dane,
but like,
no,
I know it. I'm not bad. No, but like I literally never used it once.
It's not necessary except for some of the hard fights. Like the wolf one is useful because it stun locks people like horribly. And, like that's a useful
I would just
fight,
rely on Spartan Rage to like do anything that I had troubles with, but. Yeah.
You never had troubles because you were too good.
I'm the optimal human.
That's right.
No, when I did, I would just use Spartan Rage.
That's right. Yeah, and it does kind of matter what like armor you have on, like how fast you get Spartan Rage, and like how fast the cooldowns are for like all of your little special dealy bobbers.
I don't think I used Spartan Rage very much because I didn't think it was that powerful. Like against some of the harder enemies, it didn't seem like it was killing them.
Each like individual punch was like too small of like a divot.
But I used it as like a get out of jail free card. It's like, oh, like I can just stop doing this and like get health back or something.
Yeah, the health regeneration is good, and also you can game it by if you enter Spartan Rage and then jump on one of the golems or the ogres or whatever, as you're doing damage to people, it still counts you as being in Spartan Rage. So you can just do all the damage on those people and get all your health back, and then just kill the ogre and kill everyone else, which is like sort of cheap. But I would do that like every time there was an ogre. I would just do that for fun because it's kind of fun just to smash people with the ogre, and then I would just kill them. So
yeah,
or the Cyclops or whatever it is.
Yeah. So I enjoy the like narrative things that are happening. You know, everything is much more intense when the camera is just always locked on like Kratos, so you're basically like seeing his point of view on everything. And yeah,
so like how do you feel about, I guess this is a question for both of you guys, I don't think we ever talked about this in our other God of War discussions. How do you feel about the camera angle in terms of like your connection to the like events? Like, do you prefer that, or would you rather have it with like, for the reason I bring it up is because like with God of War 1, that game when I first played it, I didn't expect it to be as like intimate as it was, because it is like this epic kind of narrative, and they had like God of War kind of pioneered, at least for the modern era. Obviously Resident Evil did it first with the tank controls and the fixed cameras, all that kind of stuff, but like God of War pioneered the whole like camera starts out way above this temple, and as you're running into the temple, the camera kind of sinks in and follows you, but it doesn't do it in a way that like is distracting. It's kind of like a cool cinematic element. And that game is super epic because like I would say like 75% of that game takes place in that like the Pandora's temple or whatever on the back, like that what is it again? It's like a turtle, or is it like
I didn't play the whole game.
Oh, okay. Well, like the whole basically like at least 60% of the game is all in one like dungeon area, and it's this giant like moving temple on the back of like this, I forget what it is, but like some creature, but it's like a very intimate kind of environment, and so the camera is like kind of close in a different way, like it's in a bunch of different like corners of rooms, but then in this game it's just always right on Kratos. How do you think that plays into like the feeling of like the epic action against like, you know, killing gods and like dragons and all that kind of stuff? Is it cooler? Is it?
I mean, I don't.
Yeah, pretty much sucks ass.
Like obviously we like it, but I mean, like, is it? Do you think that it heightens what's happening, or do you just like it as like a cinematic approach?
I mean, it's like it's necessary. Like a third person like behind the back game is like how every game is now. Like if the game had like the like fixed camera angles, like that's a neat effect, but I don't think like I don't really want that for a whole game. Like that's not something I like to deal with that much, because I like to have control over the camera to see where I'm looking at, and like it's useful from a gameplay perspective, but like the camera effects all happen in cutscenes in this game, so it's not really like the behind the back camera doesn't really do much for me. Like it's useful and stuff, but like all the magic happens when the cutscene takes place, and the camera can do whatever it wants during that part. So
yeah,
like,
that's true.
That's like the fights with like the dragons and stuff. It's like, oh, like that, like that's pretty cool. But like when like the camera is like doing work, like it's never doing it during the fight. It's doing it during a cutscene.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like even in like just in general, like do you feel like seeing like the way that the camera moves and operates? I know it like moves away from Kratos a lot of the time, but it's always somewhat focused on Kratos and Atreus. It's never like, you know, miles away and they show something else. It's always like whatever's happening in that immediate moment. Do you like that in a God of War game like that? Or not even a God of War game, but a game where like it's focusing so heavily on the relationship between these two characters? Do you think it like adds that much to
I think
what's
it adds
happening?
Immersiveness. It's like, okay, like I'm always seeing something from like Kratos' point of view. Like it's never, like I said, it's never like the eagle cam like shot. Like there are very few times when the camera like pans out super far.
Yeah.
But again, like that's during a cutscene. Like everything that happens is usually behind his shoulder or just like like face, like I'm looking at him. So like it adds to that immersiveness and just like the closeness to them. Like I think it's effective in that way. But again, take it or leave it.
Yeah, I really like the how much it invests you in your main character.
Yeah.
Because when you're seeing everything that close to them and getting their reaction to every little thing that happens, you're like taking in their emotions like so sincerely, or you know, so directly that it works really well. So
I agree.
Yeah. The other only other very small specific thing that I was going to bring up is that during the Baldur fight where they're like flying across worlds, why does he never take out his weapons? He only ever punches him.
Who, Kratos?
Yeah.
He literally doesn't even just because of the proximity, probably.
Yeah, I mean, he could have found a way to do it, man. That's just, I'm not saying it's bad because of it. I just find it funny that he literally never took out his like decapitate him, like try.
Yeah, I think it's honestly because that wouldn't have done anything in the first place. Like he would have just come back. But also like Kratos is as strong.
Why even punch him? Like,
well, because Kratos is as strong like barehanded as he is with any weapon.
Yeah, but weapons allow you to cause more damage.
Yeah, I mean different damage.
More damage. You think a big ass fucking scimitar is gonna do the same damage as you punching someone?
When you're Kratos, probably, yeah, absolutely.
Listen, you're rationalizing it. It's fine.
I think it's just a situation. Like I don't remember the exact fight you're talking about, honestly, but I think it's just a situation of like Kratos can't take the time to like pull out his axe and swing because Baldur is always and like almost always like in his face at every given moment. Like he's like can teleport around, he can freeze, and like he can do that kind of stuff very quickly. So I think it's just like Kratos, like he's in a little bit of a panic mode when he's fighting.
Yeah, it's fair enough that it happens, but it's a little too. It's just funny that.
I mean, he could definitely try to lop his arm off or leg off and be like, okay, well, like,
has he
even
you're still
alive, but you can't walk to me, I guess. I don't know how his is it going to be like
Monty Python where it's just a flesh wound.
It's fine, he's fine. I don't know how we don't know how Baldur's like regenerative abilities work. It's not made clear at that point. So who knows? Maybe he's just like, well, I'll just take my leg and it grew back instantly.
I'll use it as a little like club.
But yeah, it's unclear.
Now, back to Kratos' strength versus weapons. Just really quickly, I want to say that Kratos is able to, like, when he's fighting the Vergans, the wolf characters, he's able to, like, take their jaw and just rip it completely down their body and off of their body. I'm pretty sure he's able to do, like, literally whatever he wants to do barehanded. Like, he can, like, the trolls or whatever that you fight, he kills all of those, like, with his axe, granted, but, like, most of the damage he's doing, like, on their head, it's just, like, him just, like, sitting there just, like, punching the fuck out of, like, their skull.
I mean, listen, the man's very strong.
He can do whatever he wants, really, with anything.
He can lift boulders and move
he can do whatever he wants with his hands. At the start of the game, when he, like, pushes, like, the first time he pushes, like, the temple around, he's just, like...
that was pretty lit.
He's just, like, my dad's really strong. And I was just, like, oh, my God.
He's like, yeah.
He's just, like,
he's somewhat strong.
He's real strong, bud.
He's definitely not a god, though.
Yeah, no, he's fine. He's just very strong.
I love how he does that, and then like later on when they're trying to lift those or when he's trying to move like that mining cart to lift up that chain to use the elevator or whatever, he's like, are you sure you can lift this? And he's like, I can lift this. And it's like that happens after he lifts or moves the temple. It's like, did you not see him move like something the size of like a fucking lake?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Like, how do you not know that your dad is...
He's very strong.
Swole as fuck.
On the topic of him saying funny banter type stuff, he... Oh, no. What was I going to say?
It's gone.
Boat conversations... stories.
So yeah, he'll say just like dismissive things all the time to Atreus, and then when Atreus starts like saying it back to him, you're like, wow, this kid is a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
But like if you put those words into Kratos's mouth, like a lot of times they line up with something that he would have said earlier in the game.
Well, the thing that like they always mention in the interviews now is that they wanted, like, when they were talking about Kratos, they wanted to put something in the game that was like a foil to Kratos. Like they wanted to put something in where like someone could not necessarily challenge him like physically, but just like challenge his like personality or like his character. And the perfect thing is to have a teenage boy.
Yeah.
Because Atreus is just gonna be like, Dad, you're so lame, or it's like something like that. Like literally not that, but like he'll say something to that effect.
Almost
and then Kratos will be like, what? Like, I'm a cool dad or something. Like, it kind of puts him in like a weird position where he has to be,
because he always speaks formally, so now he has to
so now he has to be like, damn, this kid's taking swings at me, like, what do I do? I really like that relationship between them. It's
not like when Kratos says like those bad things, like it's more fitting for Kratos because Kratos is like a fucked up dude.
Is
like,
a dick,
and he's not a nice person. Yeah, he's not a nice person, and Atreus from the start of the game is very clearly like a pretty nice kid, like at the start. And so like it's just that first time where like he starts like just becoming an asshole, I was like
this is not him.
I don't like there's a way where I can believe that he's doing that, but like it was so sudden. I was just like, I don't believe, like I don't have reason to believe he should be acting like this. I was just like,
he gets told he's a god, and then like 2 seconds later he's like, I don't concern myself with the small people.
I found that funny at first because I was like, oh well, like Kratos is obviously gonna tell him like, hey kid, like buck up and like don't be a dick. But then he never does, and I was just like dude, like this, stop. I hate watching this.
But I think also part of that, I guess, to like play devil's advocate, is that like Kratos never wanted to reveal that to him in the first place, and he certainly didn't prepare how to handle it after he told him. Like he wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna tell Atreus that he's a god, I'll figure it out. Like it was just him like completely winging it in every sense of the word. So now that he's revealed this major like life event to Atreus, and Atreus is like taking it into his own, like, you know, interpreting it in his own way, Kratos is like, I didn't plan for this. What do I do now?
That's a good point.
Yeah. So I feel like maybe he's just kind of like scrambling to figure out how to handle it. But it's still, despite that, I do believe that, partly, but I also think it was a little too sudden.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anything else?
What are your thoughts on the gameplay so far? Again, we were talking about the combat. We weren't huge fans of some aspects of it, but
yeah, I think as the game goes on, you have so many tools at your disposal that like the combat becomes much less of like, okay, this guy can kill me in one hit, and I like have to do some Dark Souls ass shit to like beat him. It's like, okay, now I'm gonna summon like wolves, and then I'm gonna go into Spartan Rage, and then I'm gonna make it so that Atreus can rapid fire arrows at this guy so that there's no fucking possible way he could like throw a fist at me even if he wanted to.
Stun lock that motherfucker.
Yeah, and I'm gonna run for 3 seconds so that I have an unblockable shield that can like stop you from even touching me. So yeah, at the beginning it's like, okay, this is Dark Souls where we're kind of on equal footing, but you can definitely fuck me up way faster. And now it's like, oh, okay, I have like the gods on my side to like stop you from doing anything to me. So it's definitely changed a lot over the course of the game, and I'm interested to go back to the beginning and see like, okay, was I just bad at like the combat, or is it actually kind of unfair at the beginning?
I think you can't really like, when you go back, like the enemies are still going to be higher level, and so like you are always having that equal challenge. But I think at the start of the game, like especially if you're trying to do like the rift tears at the start, those enemies are too powerful. They're not meant to be beat.
Yeah.
You can do it,
yeah,
but you have to be like very cheesy. And it's like I said, it's possible, but you're not really meant to.
You're breaking the game.
Yeah. I'm definitely not referring to those guys.
Just general combat encounters.
Yeah, I still felt throughout the entire game. It's just like some of like the enemies I've said before, heavy guys like revenants, like those guys are just like they're boring to fight, and they're just annoying at many times. I just want to be done with those enemies, and I don't feel like that changed throughout the game.
Fair enough.
All right,
I think that might be it for God of War Corner.
Cool.
Damn.
Go ahead. I was gonna say something about Rocket League, but
go ahead.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of happenings in the Rocket League community this week. I'm not going to discuss them all. Firstly, I got my champion rank back. Let's go. Got up to Division 4, and I was like, please, am I going to get to Champion 2? And then I lost like 1 or 2 games, and I was like, okay, might as well stop.
Yeah.
Because you never want to fall all the way back down. That's a depressing
You got to at least have made a little bit of progress.
That's right. And then during the double drop rate, I opened some crates. It definitely didn't feel like double drop rate, like, and it didn't say anywhere on the homepage like, oh guys, check out double drop rate weekend. Like the only announcement was through blog posts and like tweets and stuff like that. Yeah. So there's never any like official, I never saw with my eyes. Okay, it's double. Yeah, it's double drop rate weekend. And it didn't feel like double drop rate. So yeah, maybe that just means that I got horrible luck or something like that.
Possible.
But I did open a crate, and having said all that, having complained all that, I opened a crate, and then I got my second ever black market item, which is the highest rarity, and it's a decal, a universal mystery decal, which is animated, and I got Dissolver, which I believe is what it's called. It's like it's a new fiery like decal for your car.
Yeah.
And it's worth it's one of the most like expensive items that you can get right now, and it's worth about like 50 keys, which is like $50. So yeah,
cool.
That was extremely exciting.
You can apply that one to any car.
I believe so. Yeah,
that's neat.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you, buddy boy.
Yeah, and yeah, there are some items that are worth like, the highest it goes for Rocket League is like around like 200, like 150 for like the craziest item.
Yeah.
So yeah, like some communities or whatever, like even PUBG, there will be items that skyrocket literally hundreds of dollars, like even like up to 1,000. Hasn't there been like $1,000?
Yeah, at the start of the game. Well,
Player Unknown's jacket,
the Player Unknown set, and like the leather jackets when they were released, but like supply and demand, when everyone starts getting them, like they're down to like 100, like $200 now, which is still obscene amount of money for a digital jacket.
Yeah,
but
it's
still,
not $1,000.
It's not $1,000 anymore, which is absolutely insane.
It's too much.
So yeah, prices are a lot more reasonable in Rocket League, even though the system for obtaining the items fucks you way harder than some. So Yeah. The other thing was they released their roadmap for the future, a bunch of new like stuff they're going to put into the game. One of the biggest things is they're introducing cross-platform parties at the end of next month, which means that I should be able to reclaim all of my PS4 items by trading with my PS4 Persona.
Dude,
let's go.
Can I get my cat ears?
Probably. I actually
go.
also, I think, got an extra pair of cat ears that I could hand over to you. But I also have purple cat ears. Listen, Dane's a weeaboo.
Dude, those cat ears are, they complete my Carsona.
My Carsona. Oh my god. Yeah, and then they're going to do something similar to Battle Pass from Fortnite. I don't know what that is at all, and they were really bad at explaining it.
Yeah.
We can tell you.
In Rocket League. I don't even know if we need to go into that right now,
Yeah,
but
it's not necessary.
something similar. And then they announced the competitive Season 7 rewards. There's going to be a goal explosion, which is not that cool, unfortunately. And then there's going to be a player banner, like one of those cards. And that is kind of cool, but it's not even as cool as like the dragon ones that they had. Do you remember those? Yeah. Those are really awesome, and these ones are not that awesome. They're very generic. And the goal explosion, it like explodes, and then it's like a soccer ball like rotating. It's like just do
like the kind of like gold stars or like platinum, whatever.
So generic. Like do something cool like the dragons or like the like vaporwave like aesthetic or something like that. Like do something cool. So yeah, I was a little disappointed with that. Worked really hard to get champion. Could get some better rewards, but other than that, yeah, that's it for Rocket League Corner.
All right.
Cool.
Dane.
Haven't been playing much. Fortnite is the newest thing I've been playing. I feel like that's a whole other discussion. It's a small indie title. What was saying that? Yeah. I don't really want to get into it right now just because I feel like it's a bigger discussion and I have a lot to say about it, a lot of thoughts. I will say I've been giving it a chance and I've been enjoying my time with it, but a little bit of frustration here and there. So I'll keep it short and sweet. I haven't really been playing much else than that. I haven't been playing much of anything besides the normal like Overwatch and PUBG.
Normal lineup.
Just normal heavy hitters. One of these podcasts I do want to talk about Fortnite because Dorian's been playing with me. Coulter, you haven't played with us because you don't like fun. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I don't really have much to add to the discussion. I'm sorry. I haven't played anything new.
Well, thanks for being here.
Look. I will say I'm excited for whatever reason to play State of Decay 2. It's coming out soon. It's been watching some gameplay of it. It's a little intriguing, but that is not out until the 25th, I think. Or there's I think they're doing an Ultimate Edition where if you buy it, for $80 or whatever, I don't know what you even get with it. You get it early. You get it 5 days early or something like that. So maybe it's coming out Friday or I don't know. I have no idea. It's coming out soon.
Okay.
So I might play that. I probably will play that. But that's the only thing that's coming up that I even know anything about.
State of Day Blob.
State of Slime Rancher too.
Let's go. We need a Slime Rancher update next week.
You won't get one.
Get that on the table.
You won't get
one. It's on the docket. You have to fire twice from the slime gun from the hip.
From the slime ranch. Twice. From my slime ranch cork gun.
That's right.
Let's go. Okay. I haven't been playing much else besides Fortnite, which we're not talking about this episode. So I won't be.
I'd like to announce that I haven't been playing anything.
Yeah. I have been playing Battletech still. The game still continues to take up most of my time.
Battletoads.
Also have been getting back into Dota 2, a game that I enjoy, and no one else here does, so I won't be talking about that.
Listen, it's a smart man's game, just
it's the fighting man's
Dota.
Game. It's the thinking man's game, just like Dota.
Just like BattleTech.
Stroke. But yeah, I like that game a lot. It happens to be the Dota International Tournament is happening soon.
That one where they offer obscene amounts of money.
They get millions of dollars
That's right.
Due to their Battle Pass, which is the originator of Battle Pass technology.
Okay.
But yeah, not too much to say about that. I've only played, here and there. Re-downloaded it not too long ago. But I like that game. It's fun. It's challenging.
I don't have anything against it. If you want to talk about it, that's fine. It's just not for me.
No, I just don't have anything to talk about it.
Listen, is there any particular X factor in that game that drew you back to it?
Coulter, now that you mention it, there's a huge roster of characters that are all unique and have their own abilities, and you can learn how to play each one distinctively, and they all provide unique roles during the game.
Well, I more meant just like why you go back to it, like.
Because
it's fun.
Because it's fun,
that's fine.
And also like it's in the zeitgeist right now.
Sorry, what was
it's
that?
in the zeitgeist because of the international.
Yeah.
But
it was on your mind.
Part of me wants to just like dedicate more time to that game because I do really like it, but it's a very time intensive game.
It's a career.
It becomes a career. Like one game I played the other night took literally over an hour for one match, which was exciting when we won it because it's kind of a comeback victory. But it was just like, damn, I spent an hour in one match.
I was playing XCOM 2 and I had time just to start and finish the tutorial and like 2 beginning missions in the game, and then you guys were like, all right, well, oh man, like, yeah, I could hear you guys talking. You're like, oh man, like, we're so close or whatever. I was like, is that match just finishing? And I felt like 7 years had passed, and then you guys were like, all right, you want to play something else? And you literally played one match, and then we played Overwatch.
And honestly, one match is about all I need per day, and that's all I have time for each day because they're so long. They do have a turbo mode, which is like touted as like Dota in half the time, which really ends up being more like a 20-minute match, which is much more friendly for people. But I haven't tried it out yet. But yeah, other than that, I haven't been playing too much. I want to get back to Yakuza. I haven't been playing as much as I would like, just because I've been playing BattleTech. But yeah, and Overwatch. Been playing that more recently, but no new stuff there except for the anniversary, which is coming out soon.
Okay,
I think it's next week.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Events all the time.
Pretty much.
Basically,
I'm saving all my credits.
Okay.
I don't know what to buy. But I'll buy something.
They just recently released pictures of Soldier 76 and Tracer looks like shite.
Wait, of new skins?
There's always someone that looks like shite.
Tracer's new skin, shite. Soldier 76 new skin.
You've heard it here first.
Okay. It's not fantastic, but it's better than some of his other stuff, I'll say.
Wasn't the Dota Invitational in Seattle last year?
Oh, wow.
It was. It's actually been in Seattle quite a few times because Valve is located here around Seattle, I should say. But yeah, I don't know if it's located here this year. I could be. It's not. It hasn't happened yet. They're still doing like qualifier tournament stuff.
Would you try to go?
Not really. I don't care. Like I don't know any of the players. I don't know any of the teams really. I like playing it. But if I like,
you would know what was happening.
Yeah, if I got more into it, I might be like convinced to like stop by and check it out. But
if you had a friend,
if I had a friend who actually liked that game,
that's right.
I had a couple friends. Whoa, man. Jesus.
Is this Overwatch cast?
Dude, this new soldier skin looks pretty cool.
Oh, I thought you were just talking about the regular skin. I was like, bud.
All right, now skip to Tracer.
That's kind of cool.
I like I'm on board with the soldier one. I think it looks cool.
That one's good. Did you see Tracer yet?
No, I didn't.
Treasure.
Good.
Hit us with Trace.
Was it lightning?
Yeah.
Lightning McQueen.
It's a choice they've made.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. Let me see if I can pull
Dane, if they integrated Disney characters like into the skins, I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
Oh, actually, I like.
I'm just trying to work Remy in there somehow.
The picture looks bad. The in-game, I think it looks cool.
That sure is Tracer. Oh no.
She looks like Ellen DeGeneres with her hair.
It literally just says lightning on her leg.
That's a dumb skin.
Okay, her hair.
Her hair and the goggles look dumb AF.
I like the Tracer skin.
Of course. Listen, you can say it looks bad.
I think it looks bad in the pictures. The picture that they showed on Google looked terrible. In game, I think it looks good.
She looks like Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
With the spiked hair.
Yeah.
She looks like Miley Cyrus.
No.
Maybe a little.
Maybe a little.
With goggies.
Maybe a little bit pink.
No.
Added?
No, like Pink the artist.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The artist formerly known as Pink. All right, I think that's going to do it for our regular segments. Let's move on to drawing the wacky film.
Pulling a film out of the bag. It's
sure.
Not a
I could have done it.
It's not a box.
I don't want to.
It's a bag.
Probably safer.
I have to stay here and
in case I fuck something up.
I have to stay here and stall.
It's not a box and it's not a chest. It's not a hat, but it is a bag.
Yeah, we've been supporting their company for a while now.
Right.
So. All right, I'm gonna do this down here so I don't
give us some
Every
funds.
week we pull a movie out of the bag.
This bag's feeling
Could
light.
be something new. It could be something bad. It could be something old. Hey.
Okay, I got it. Zip that up.
What are we gonna be watching next week?
Let's fucking go to
Xenon Girl. Let's fucking go.
Cetus Lapidus.
Dude, let's
Let's
go,
fucking
dude.
go. I'm sorry.
I am unreasonably excited
Did we
to
say
watch
it?
this.
Xenon Girl of the 21st Century.
Yes.
Let's go.
Dude,
Listen, the
this
chances
is gonna
were high.
be second only to our Halloween Town 2 Calabar's Revenge.
The greatest film.
Halloween Spectacular. Spooktacular.
Wow.
That's wild.
I'm excited.
But honestly, we kind of called it.
We did.
We're getting down into the
nitty-gritty.
semifinals.
Yeah. It had to happen at some point, and why not now?
Now, inevitably, we have to do our personal top 10 ranking of the Wacky Film List
Oh,
Sure,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
when we finish it upon
That'll be
completion.
fun.
Yeah.
Or we could rank all of them.
You won't find a lot of the movies on mine. Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
You won't have 10 movies.
You won't
on
find
yours.
Apocalypse Now on my list. Thanks.
That is just offensive to...
You guys fetishize it.
All right.
It should be offensive to
Whiplash
everyone
getting
alive.
knocked down 2 pegs
Damn.
for that. So, careful what you say. All
Too
right.
bad all the movies I like are undeniably good. Let's get into
And
it.
That's
all the
fine.
movies I like are undeniably good as well, except to you. Listen,
Except by
Apocalypse
me.
Now is considered one of the greatest films of all time by many people.
Listen, I'm sure it is.
All right, Coulter. Listen, we're gonna get into it right now.
Look, I'm upset.
All right, we're watching Xenon Girl of the 21st Century. Watch it by next week. I don't want to have to spoil this fantastic film for you guys.
I can tell you right... I'll save it for next week.
All right.
Spoiler alert, she says Cetus Lapidus.
No.
A lot.
No.
All right, get the spoiler. warning
Vega
for that.
Omega.
I don't know what you're saying
Oh
anymore.
my god.
You'll know after we
Well,
watch it.
dude, yeah, we're gonna have some new catchphrases next podcast.
Wait,
Hell yeah.
isn't Raven Simone
Yes,
the friend?
I was about to say
Let's fucking go.
she's the best friend.
Where's Corey?
Maybe
He's dead,
in a
man.
Cameo.
He's not there.
He's in
not
the house.
born yet.
He's
Corey
in
in
the
the
house.
He's in the house. Get in the fucking house, Corey.
Corey, get back in the house.
All right. If you want to contact us, send us a question, comment, or critique, you can email us at itsnotsosubtle@gmail.com. Again, itsnotsosubtle@gmail.com. Please
That's right.
send something in there, and we'll respond to it. You can also find us on Facebook at It's Not So Subtle, on Twitter at It's Not So Subtle, on Instagram. We got some hot Instagram stories, some Insta stories at It's Not So Subtle as well.
You should be hearing more from us on social media if all goes well.
Yeah, if all goes according to plan.
Yeah, I'll put it out there right now. Daneman Lapointsmans is the Not So Subtle social media manager, and he's gonna kill it.
Send all complaints to him.
That's right.
No, I am actually going to double down on... I have some ideas that are very vague for somewhat cool promotional-oriented things that aren't just text posts on social media. It's I have no idea what I'm going to do yet, but I know I don't want to do that, so we'll see.
Okay. We're going to have something. You can also find us on YouTube at Not So Subtle. Please watch our videos there. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll get back to you.
That's right. But you are watching it on YouTube right now because there's nowhere else to watch this.
That's right. Listen, I'm still not used to it. It still stings.
That's right.
The scars.
We could change it
haven't
at
healed
any
yet.
time.
It's true. There's a way to do that. We haven't done it yet.
That's
all
right. We'll have more discussion on that at our business meeting.
I think we've once Elfster supplies us with the necessary investment funding that we need, we'll be able to do whatever we want.
Elster, just send us $52 and our podcast will be back on iTunes.
And we can support you on there as well. All right.
The sound of your lips.
Dane, where can people find you?
Well, that's a great question, Jordan. You can find me...
Dane, where can people find $52? Damn if you know.
Hit up our affiliate link, elfstar.com. I'm being lambasted. Lane to Point on Twitter, Instagram, now Vimeo, and potentially I might work on. I don't know if it's my YouTube URL. You can just find me at Dane LaPointe on YouTube.
Unfortunately, I do have insight on this. The YouTube URLs are just complete random characters until you get big enough so that you can actually request your own vanity URL.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. So I guess it's under my personal name. So just search Dane LaPointe. It's not my name. There's a scene enemy. And yeah, I guess that's basically it. I may be posting more travel-oriented videography or photography soon, most likely on Instagram or Vimeo. So follow me there.
Mm-hmm. All right, culture.
Also, I want to say just on the iTunes topic real quick, not a lambast, just if you guys want to see us on iTunes, we're currently not on iTunes. If you want to see us on iTunes, please make yourselves known and send us an email or a message on social media. And then maybe we'll come back.
All right, I'll do that tonight.
All right. You are the only man on earth who has been to our iTunes page and said something.
That's not me.
No, that was the Killamilla.
That wasn't me.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that wasn't the Killamilla.
All right,
My
Coulter.
bad.
Where
Guys,
can people
you can find me at Coulter Potter on Twitter. Let me make this real simple for you. At Coulter Potter, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch.
Let's go. Succinct. I like it.
I like the Donald Trump. Look, you gotta find me anywhere you want.
What is the exact hand motion?
He does like
does he curl the thing?
Yeah, and he does like points with them, like motions. He gesticulates quite often.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nice.
The camera's out, but I'm not switching the battery. Sorry.
Fuck it.
That's fine. All right, you can find me, Jordan Miller, at the Killamilla on Twitter and most other social media websites and video game services. If you want to look at my anime blog, which I haven't updated much lately, but I do frequent it, Tenzo-Taicho on Tumblr. All right.
That reminds me, my Tumblr that I've been posting more film-oriented things on is Cinema Dope.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right. That's going to do it for us today or tonight or in the morning, whenever you're watching this. I don't know. I don't know when it is. Could be any time. Until next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.